Okay, enough of that. Last month I made a cast iron pizza, and today I'm going to try my hand at Neapolitan pizza. So here's how it goes. Neapolitan pizza calls for the use of 00 flour. It is a very fine flour with a good amount of protein in it, so you can develop a good gluten structure to this. This particular recipe is for making two pizzas, and the first thing that we're going to do with this pizza flour is to develop what's called a poolish. A poolish is a pre-fermented dough that we make the day before the pizza proper. And it is good for making a nice, airy, fluffy crust, crispy crust, an easily digestible crust. So we're going to go ahead and make a poolish. To do that, we're going to take 250 milliliters of room temp water, which is the same thing as 250 grams of room temp water, 5 grams of dry yeast, 5 grams of honey, and 250 grams of 00 flour. Mix it all up, and after you do that, cover it, leave it at room temperature for 1 hour, and this is what you get. It doubles in size, and you can see the yeast has just exploded in here, all these wonderful bubbles here. Pop it in the fridge overnight for 16 to 24 hours. So when the poolish is ready to come out of the fridge, we're going to get to work on making our pizza dough. To do that, we're first going to take 60 grams of cold water, 10 grams of sea salt, and we're going to add the poolish into this, along with 10 grams of olive oil, and stir it up, get it real nice and mixed up into a slurry. And when that's all mixed up, we're going to add 175 more grams of the 00 flour, stir it up until everything is incorporated, and then we're going to let it rest uncovered for 10 minutes and have a glass of wine and take a little break. After 10 minutes, turn the dough out onto an unfloured table and begin kneading it for 5 to 10 minutes. Slap and fold, stretch and fold until you develop a nice, smooth, relatively smooth dough ball. Put a little bit of olive oil on top and then cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes. And while it's resting, time to have another sip or two of wine. After 30 minutes comes the big reveal. Remove the top. We're going to have our dough ball there. Cut it approximately in half. We're going to form 2 dough balls, about 280 grams a piece. That's good for a 12-inch pizza. You're going to have some leftover dough. You can make a mini pizza or do whatever you want with that. With one of the dough balls, we're going to freeze it, put it in a container with a little bit of olive oil on top. It can stay in the freezer for a half a year. The other one, we're going to put in a pan. Again, a little olive oil on top. Cover it with some cling wrap and a dish towel. And let it rest at room temp for 1 to 2 hours. For me, it was closer to 1 hour. While the pizza dough is proofing, it's time to get the oven set up. Throw in your pizza stone or pizza steel and preheat the oven to 550 degrees or as high as it'll go. Then start working on what are your condiments going to be in your sauces. I chose a marinara sauce. I'm going to have some black olives, some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and a mixture of Parmesan Romano and Asiago cheeses, some mozzarella cheese, and lastly, some prosciutto. So it should be a pretty good tasting pizza. Now, before the pace of things picks up considerably, time to have another glass of wine. Okay, 2 hours is up. The dough ball has increased quite a bit in size. Dust it with some flour, remove it. We're going to plop it into a mixture of semolina flour and 00 flour and shape it into a disc. Of course, I did a horrible job doing that, but try to leave a bit of a crust around the edge there. So it'll look rustic, okay? It's not going to look store-bought. Throw some sauce on there, not too much, very important. And then into the oven it goes. Now, it's important that we do this at this point in time because These pizzas normally are heated in like 700 to 900 degree ovens. We can't get our ovens that high. So we're going to par bake it about halfway in the oven here. And then remove it. And then at that point in time, start applying our toppings. And we're going to apply a little bit of olive oil around the edge there too. I have all the toppings on here now. I'm going to add the mozzarella on top. That should be the last thing to go on there. And then into the oven it goes. After about 10 minutes, we have our beautiful pizza. A very rustic looking pizza, not the prettiest looking pizza in the world, but trust me, it was delicious. On the whole, not too bad for a first effort.